SG1. Okay, well, as you're all in this room, you probably agree with me. TNG was the best sci-fi show ever made in the history of the universe. Okay? And when you get asked to be on any other sci-fi show, because I did Outer Limits, I did SG1, I did Earth Final Conflict, you know, when you arrive on the set, it's like you're the Queen of England. I swear, they were so great to me. I got on fantastically well with Amanda. We hit, you know, we were just like really hit it off, and I'm so thrilled for her. She's doing so well now with her Sanctuary thing. Fantastic girl. Ricky Dean, who I was a bit, you know, in awe of, to be honest. He's MacGyver, right? It's MacGyver, and cute as hell, right? So. He had a little, not a baby, I think she was about 2 when I did the episode, his little girl, and it was in his contract that he would leave at 6 o'clock. So he would have time to spend with his child, which I think is fantastic, you know, otherwise he'd have been there till 10, he would never have seen her. So 6 o'clock, his driver shows up every day to take him home. Well, one day we were shooting the scene where we first meet at the airplane. And it was 6 o'clock, and I could see his driver standing waiting for him. So I said, Richard, you know, your driver's here. Because we had shot his dialogue, and the camera was turning around to shoot my dialogue. And he said, Marina, when we get an actress of your caliber on the show, I stay for off-camera dialogue. So, guess what happened? Forgot my lines. Totally. Freaked out now, the pressure, you know. And I can see and think, oh, bloody hell, this is when, you know, this is typical. And then there was another thing which, and again, this is TV for you. There are a lot of not very bright people on television, right? So, we're doing a stunt where we have to jump out of the airplane, to, you know, to parachute out of the airplane. Obviously, we're not going to really parachute out of an airplane. We're going to jump out of the plane, but it's on the ground. And there are mattresses, you know, for us to land on. But we have to jump out, you know, like that, so that it looks like we're really jumping out of the aeroplane. And we've got the parachute pack on. And there is the real Air Force dude there to make sure that everything is kosher, because they're set in present time, right? So we have the real pack on our backs. Do you know how much they weigh? Right. A lot. Oh, Air Force, right? Airborne. I'm 5'3", right? And don't weigh that much. And I had to jump out of the plane 100 times because apparently I wasn't jumping out right. Right? They said, watch Richard, he can do it right. And he's like, yeah, he's done it before. This is my first time. I did it. The next day, I was almost paralyzed. My back, I was in agony. So I went up to the Air Force dude and the props dude, and I said, excuse me, can I just make a suggestion? You know, I know it's the real parachute, but we don't have X-ray vision. We don't know what's inside, right? You could stuff it with newspaper and no one's going to know. Not me, like, crippled for the next week. And they went, oh, right. But I really enjoyed SG1. I think out of all the other sci-fi shows that I did, it was my favourite of all. Yeah. Yes.
Since you were talking about how excited you were about driving, how excited were you when you saw in the script for First Contact that you get to be soused?
Well, I couldn't believe it, first of all, that I was the one who got to be funny. Because it was always Brent that was funny. You know, Data was funny. Troy was never funny. I tried to make Troy funny, and Jonathan was saying, well, don't do that. She's not funny. She's serious. I'm like, okay. Because I'm quite a funny person, I think. So I would try and inject little Marina in there, but it wasn't working. And so when I read the script and I saw that I had like the major comedy scene in the movie, I actually asked Rick Berman. I said, why me? What happened? And he goes, well, there's a line that you have to say, which I think goes something like, I've been trying to keep his hands off me for the last 20 minutes. He said, if one of the boys had to say that, it'd be a whole different movie. But a lot of people come up to me and go, were you really drunk? And I was like, no, don't be ridiculous. And they go, well, you know, how did you do it so well? And I'm like, I had lots of practice. In my youth, I had lots of practice, yeah. Not anymore. Next question, right in the back.
Did you and the cast of TNG ever play pranks on each other?
You know what, I have this theory, if I pull this, it's going to collapse. No, is that a... That's, oh, this is what I want. This is what I want. I want the rock star mic. There we go. All right, then I can walk around. What was your question? Pranks. Oh, yeah. I have a theory about practical jokes. Now, bear with me. Who are you talking to? You're talking to someone. Hello? Hello? This is Marina Sirtis. She's interrupting my Q&A. So, it's always the hobbits. Always the hobbits. Oh, okay. Tell him he can come and see me tomorrow. What was your question again?
Pranks.
Pranks, right. My theory about practical jokes is that you really only play them, think about it deeply, on people you really don't like very much. Really? You don't play them on people that you really love. And like I said before, we really loved each other. And I'm going to do a double take, so I think I just saw Scotty sitting there. I thought I was seeing a ghost. And Jimmy come back to life. Oh my God! I honestly thought I was like on psychic for a minute, and I see Jimmy resurrected. Okay. So no, we didn't play practical jokes. I mean, like I said, we laughed, but that's because we're all funny as a cast. Every single one of us has a really great sense of humour. And there was a lot of singing, and there was a lot of like, it was bizarre. It was like a kindergarten. We had guest stars who came, didn't know what to make of it because the noise on our set, it was deafening. And what a lot of directors couldn't understand was that we'd be like, ha, 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 and then they'd say, action, we go, and we do it, they'd say, come, go, okay, right? And in Hollywood, that's, you know, there's a lot of what they call method actors in Hollywood who are very serious about their work, and they didn't do well with us, because we were like, stupid. You don't have to be sweating to act, that's ridiculous, you know. Because a lot of method actors work up a sweat before they start acting. So they're like running around the set or doing push-ups, and we're like... There's a story, I don't know if you've heard, it's very famous in my business. It's a story about Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier. Do you know the story?
Yes.
Okay, you don't, shut up. So the story is, they're doing Marathon Man together, right? And Dustin is a real method guy, so he's like doing the laps and doing the push-ups and doing the whatever the hell they do. And Laurence Olivier is like having a cigarette, you know, having a drink, whatever, English actors. And Dustin said to him, how do you... That's my phone. That was my phone ringing. Dustin says, how do you do that, Sir Lawrence? I mean, I just have to, it takes me hours to get into the part and like do this and do that. And Laurence Olivier goes, it's called acting, dear boy. Which is one of my favourite stories of all. But yeah, we just, you know, I remember once, in the 2 years that DS9 and TNG overlapped, I was really good friends with Terry Farrell. Before she was on Star Trek, so I was thrilled when she got Dax. And actually, I have to tell you, I dressed her for her final audition. Because when she came, I said, before you go into Paramount, come to my house, we'll run through the lines together. Someone just left me a message. We'll run through the lines together, and you know, and then she arrived at my house, and she looked like something out of the Rocky Horror Show. And I went, what the hell? She had these like weird red things in her, like red pieces in her hair, and this funky outfit, and I said, Terry, all that's got to come off. All you need to do to get a job on Star Trek is basically say the lines, hit your mark, say the lines, don't bump into the furniture, and wear a padded bra. Right? And so she took all the stuff off, she went in, she got the job, fantastic, I was thrilled. So one day, I went from my set, literally across the street, like from here to where that back wall is to their set. After leaving the cacophony of my set, I walked onto their set, and I was like, who died in here? It was so quiet. It was like you could hear a pin drop. And then suddenly, I'd been there about a minute, and all the crew, because they inherited our crew, saw me, and they all came over to say hello, and it's suddenly getting louder and louder and louder and louder. And David Livingston, who was directing the episode, said, who just came on the set? Oh, might have known.